4 true break-in horror stories that will keep you up tonight. Sometimes, the fear isn't about what lurks in the woods or hides in the shadows, but about who might already be inside your home. These are 4 terrifying, true break-in stories from people who were simply trying to live their lives until someone forced their way in. This is Cass Mystery, and tonight we're unlocking doors that were never meant to be opened. Valentine's Day Knock, Manchester, England. It was a chilly February evening in Manchester, England. The city streets were slick with rain and bathed in the orange glow of streetlights as 23-year-old university student Ella trudged home after a long day of lectures. Valentine's weekend had begun, but for her, it was just another Friday, until she noticed a man in a rain-soaked hoodie loitering up ahead. At first, she thought nothing of it. In a busy city, strangers cross paths all the time, but after she passed him, she heard him speak, low, slurred, and aimed directly at her. She turned politely, unsure of what he'd said, only to meet a stare that chilled her to the core. She apologized and kept walking, faster, but footsteps followed. She turned again, this time firm. "Stop following me or I'll call the police." The man's response was immediate and violent, a punch to the face that sent her crashing to the pavement. Before she could recover, he was digging through her bag, then dragging her by the legs toward the street. She screamed, and someone answered. A motion light clicked on, and a woman appeared, phone to her ear, yelling from her doorway. The attacker hesitated just long enough for Ella to escape into the woman's home. Pauline, her unexpected savior, locked them inside her office, baseball bat in hand, as the man began kicking in the front door. He didn't stop, not until sirens pierced the air. Police tackled him outside, and Ella's nightmare ended, for now. Months later, she learned he suffered from severe mental illness. He'd been institutionalized, not jailed. And yet, instead of hatred, Ella felt something else. Gratitude to Pauline, and a haunting sympathy for the broken man who nearly destroyed her. The Man in the Living Room, suburban Midwest, USA. The summer sun had set on a quiet Midwestern suburb when Rachel woke up thirsty and needing to pee. She and her boyfriend Jason were house-sitting his parents' place for the week, taking care of their aging beagle, Buster. It had been a relaxing staycation, until that night. As she reached the top of the stairs, she heard Buster whining. Not from the door where he usually begged to go out, but from his bed. Strange. She went down to check, whispering, "What's up, buddy?" Buster looked toward the living room. There, sitting on the couch in total silence, was a man in a ski mask, gun pointed directly at her. In a voice barely above a whisper, he ordered her to sit. Rachel's body moved on its own. Her mind screamed, but she sat down. The man didn't want money. He didn't want valuables. He wanted Jason. He whispered that Jason had been sleeping with his wife, and that tonight he had planned to end him. But meeting Rachel instead gave him pause. He even showed her evidence, screenshots, telegram chats, Jason's photo. "I'm not gonna hurt you, either of you," he said. "But I was going to." Then he left. Rachel woke Jason, called 911 and confronted him. Jason denied everything. but his face said it all. They broke up days later. No one was arrested. And Rachel, once a woman in love, was left with nothing but fear, betrayal, and a strange, quiet gratitude for the masked man who changed everything without firing a single shot. Burning the past. Barry, Wales. Dan was a rookie security guard working nights in Barry, Wales. Most of his shifts were uneventful: vacant schools, condemned buildings, quiet streets. One night, he was assigned to Greenways, an abandoned special needs school marked for demolition. Around 2 a.m., a loud crash shattered the silence. Armed with only a flashlight and a maglite torch, Dan crept toward the noise and found the front doors forced open. Inside, the air reeked of gasoline. Then he saw him, a man in his 40s, pouring fuel across the floor, a knife in one hand, a gas can in the other. Dan backed away, heart pounding, assuring the man he didn't want trouble. But the man, eyes wild, shouted, "You don't know what they did to me!" Dan fled, called the police from a bus shelter across the street, and watched in horror as the school went up in flames. Later that night, curiosity got the better of him. He searched the school's history and stumbled on something dark: rumors of a satanic abuse scandal in the 1990s, dismissed as hysteria, but with strange ties to real cases. Dan remembered one thing clearly. The man had screamed a name that sounded like Helena. But the more he thought about it, the more he was convinced he hadn't said a name at all. He'd said Thelema. The safe, undisclosed U.S. city. He used to be a criminal. He says that up front. No excuses, no sympathy. Just the facts. One day, he hears about an old man, a recluse, rich, paranoid. Keeps a safe in the closet, the perfect target. So he and 2 partners plan a robbery. It's easy. They force their way in, put a gun to the old man's head, drag him to the tub, and torture him with waterboarding until he gives up the code. He breaks. They open the safe. But there's no money, no gold, no jewels. Only VHS tapes and photo albums. They start smashing the tapes, nothing inside. Then they open the albums and freeze. He won't say what he saw, just that it was horrifying. Enough to make one of the crew grab a golf club and crush the old man's skull. They fled. But what happened next was stranger than the crime. No news reports, no investigation. The man wasn't listed as dead, just missing. Years passed, no arrests, no headlines. It was as if the whole thing had been scrubbed clean, covered up, buried. And maybe someone wanted it that way. Sometimes it's not what breaks into your home that haunts you. It's what's already been hiding inside. These stories remind us that horror isn't always supernatural. It's real, it's personal, and it might be closer than we think. Until next time, keep your doors locked and your curiosity even tighter. This is Cass Mystery.